What I care about is you guys doing well, which is why I spend so much time thinking about how to make your lives better. So if you haven't already done it, download the free self-help books that I made, Fix the World and SciVive. They're at t.me/SciVive. There's a very nice lady named A Wild SJ who's actually read the audiobook on YouTube, and you could just listen to her read the whole book to you. How awesome is that? You know, her and some other people also did a rendition of the oral arguments at the motion to dismiss trial with the SEC. I think it's cool that we've got a community member that cares so much that out of the kindness of her heart, she's reading things to you. That's very nice. You know, some people have drives. They don't have the time to read. They've got hard lives that they have to work. One, shout out to A Wild SJ. Thanks for reading all those cool things.
I know it's cheesy, but I still love it. Oh man, that intro just reminds me a little bit about, you know, just where I've been and where I'm going, and I'm glad to be here on this journey with you. Let's go ahead. I had to go back and watch one of like the last live streams that I did because I needed to get the info. I forget what it's called. You know, the info for your show, right? The things you when you want to learn more about what's going on here. So in that last video that I did, it was like 5 months ago, is the last time I've done a video by myself on my own channel. So I'm glad that I went and rewatched that because it reminded me to do this. Everyone watching, please, if you have the opportunity, if you are not driving a vehicle or operating heavy machinery, take a moment with me and just breathe. Let's just lift the corners of your mouth while you're doing it. Deep breath. Just let it out. We forget sometimes to breathe. I noticed that. I remember very distinctly recently, I had some blood work done, and I used to be kind of afraid of needles, but I kind of grew out of it, but maybe it's still there a little bit. So they went to draw blood, and I noticed as they were drawing blood, I noticed I wasn't breathing. Whoa. Oh. I noticed I wasn't breathing. So just a reminder, breathe, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm very glad that I have the opportunity and I have the ability and the personality to do this. Not everyone is available or interested in or has the, I don't know what you'd call it, the calling, I guess, to be in front of a camera and to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about, right? So my mom just this week, like a couple days ago, she sent me this video. I wonder if I can show you guys this video. I'm going to try and show it to you. Let me see. You get to see little baby SJ and how I think I was kind of made for this. Are you ready? You guys ready for this? Let me see first if you can see it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you can see it. You ready for this? Let me see if I can get the sound. That's my sister. And that's me. TV, Mom, I'm really kind of on TV now. YouTube, close enough, right? So I just miss y'all. I do. I miss doing this. And I mentioned, I mentioned on X, I was streaming live on X earlier today, that a lot of the reason I haven't been doing live streams and haven't been more vocal in general is just due to the nature of what I've been up to and the fact that it's not something I can share a lot about. And there's reasons for that that I also can't really talk about. But just know that I am working hard and doing a lot, and it's all for you guys. It really is. And for me, right? It's for the community. It's to move everything that we're doing forward. And it's really an awesome opportunity. And I'm grateful that I have set myself up in life in such a way that I have the time and availability and energy to do all these things. So I have been busy, but wonderfully busy, and going to get busier for sure. There's a lot of changes coming down the rabbit hole, if you would, of what's going on with the R.S. Griffin Foundation and the tablets. And it's exciting because I have a good feeling. Many people talk about how Richard's timing is always pretty damn impeccable. And I have a good feeling that a lot of things are going to align really soon, and all for our benefit. And I just thought today it'd be a good idea to hang out and read a little bit of Richard's other book, that the lesser known book that not a lot of people really know about or have heard about or have read, perhaps. I read this one. I think I read Sci-Vive the first time, and then I read Fix the World. And at the time, I think there was a discussion where we were going to call it 15 Ways to Fix the World, but I don't know if that ever got actuated in life. So I call it 15 Ways to Fix the World, but it's just Fix the World. And I think that book, if you really want to know who Richard is and what he wants to do in the world, that's a great book to read. Sci-Vive is wonderful too. I mean, my life was changed because I read Sci-Vive. And I feel like Sci-Vive is a book that is more about you as a human, how to excel and succeed and do great things. And 15 Ways to Fix the World is about how he would change the world, what he would do, problems that he sees, and then he gives solutions, sometimes, most of the time. So hi to the chat. What's up, Joey, Hex Wizard? Good to see y'all. Thank you for stopping by and being a part of this wonderful stream on a Saturday night. I'm sure most people have got lots of other things going on. So it's just been a while, and it just felt like the right time to come on here and do some reading and chit-chatting. I want to also just stress that there's another reason that I feel like it's important for me to stream is when things are terrible, when everyone's down, when the community is at each other's throats, when people have lost faith and lost hope, and it's like abandoning the ship. I'm here to say, have faith and do not lose hope. Know that tomorrow is a brighter day. And if tomorrow is not a brighter day, the day after that's going to be brighter, y'all. There's so much to look forward to. And I don't just mean in crypto and in our community. I mean, just in life in general. There's so many opportunities and so many paths that you have ahead of you that you can't see right now. And to either cut that short or not have the optimism that there are options, I think is it's a detriment to yourself and to the world, really. Because one thing that I've learned over these last few years, especially in this community, is that it takes all of us. All of us have something unique and special and wonderful to bring to the world. And you're the only you that there is. You're the only you there ever will be. And you have something I don't, right? There's a lot of different strengths that people have, that when we all come together, like I miss I miss some people's positivity when they were positive back in the day. But Lit used to say, I like the mental image of we form like Voltron, right? We all come together. We make this mega. It makes me think of Power Rangers. We form this mega awesome hero, right? Because together we're stronger. And I think that in these times, it's important to look on the bright side. I'm sure I've been accused of having rose-colored glasses or being overly positive or things like that. I don't want to think sometimes things aren't great, right? And people are down, and I'm not saying that you can't have those feelings. However, you can change your outlook. You can change your response. I think Richard just posted something recently along those lines. And I think that it's important for us to remember that we are in control of our emotions, that we are the ones that choose how we react to things. And you have the power to go from a state of sadness, sadness and FUD and depression, to positivity and abundance and looking forward to a brighter future. I also love, there's a book called The Alchemist, and one of the great themes of that book, there's a great story within the story, and it basically is summarized in this too shall pass. Whether it's great times of feast or times of famine, this too shall pass. So it's important for us to remember that there's always another day, another road, another path, another decision to be made. That's my speech. That's my happy-go-lucky speech for the day for y'all. I'm going to read from 15 Ways to Fix the World, or Fix the World. And I'm trying to find it's broken up into 15 different sections. The currency section actually talks about Hex and Bitcoin and ETH. Pretty interesting. Charity. Let's see. If anyone is watching and you would like to choose a topic, let me know. Because I'm just going to scroll through. I feel like I had, oh, here we go. What's this say? So many. I love that this is, a lot of it is like a stream of consciousness type speaking of things. And I remember like looking at I haven't looked at Fix the World in a long time, but now I remember going back through this and editing the text. So I'm pretty sure the edited text version of Fix the World is in t.me/sci-fi. Let me see. Let me go back, see if anyone said anything. Not yet. Okay. Thanks for sticking with me, folks. I wanted to pick something before I got started, but I didn't. Okay, here. This looks kind of neat. But what is this chapter? What am I reading here? I don't know what chapter this is, but these look interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this little and these are all kind of just like subsections, and they're broken into just, I'll read the title and then I'll read the little snippet afterwards. Some of them are short, some of them are a little bit longer, but I'm going to start here because these look pretty cool, some of them. So the first one is called Getting Rich. If you are a self-made man, oftentimes people will ask you how they can become wealthy as well. Here's a funny way to look at it. If you were the only person on a deserted island, would you be exactly as wealthy as you made yourself? Want a house? Build it. Want a fancy dinner? Make it. Want a nice haircut? Do it. That's it. So the next one says, having courage, risk management. People say it's rare to get killed by a shark. How few people are in the water, though? As an example, pit bulls. Not dangerous as a percentage of total danger. However, take a look at what percentage of dog attacks they are compared to total dogs. Real risk management means less focus on terrorism and more focus on things that actually happen. Pools drown kids way more often than terrorists kill kids. How much money are we spending on pool safety? What about safer roads? Some intersections are vastly more dangerous than others. And I'm going to pause right there and tell you a true story. In Austin, Texas, the guy that designed a lot of the freeway, like interchanges and intersections, ended up killing himself because he designed them so poorly that so many people died. I'm pretty sure that's a true story. You can look it up. We'll find out. All right, continuing. Can't we spend more to fix that? There is such a thing as real, properly weighted risk management where mathematical measurement of hazard is weighed more than emotional outrage. There is an entire Wikipedia page on the common errors in thinking and perception that humans make. Let's call out the places where we're making the errors in specific. Let's see. I'm going to skip through this and see if I can find something else fun and exciting. What's up, Katie? How are you? Thanks for coming by. I'm just reading some stuff. Here's a cool one. Being right and having a new enemy is not what you're looking for. My buddy Bill says that I'm very pragmatic. And again, this is in Richard Hart's voice, basically. And I'm wondering who his buddy Bill is. My buddy Bill says that I'm very pragmatic, and he's about the only guy to say that. I've had a lot more people tell me that I preach a lot. In fact, my nickname when I used to play on a paintball team was Preach, because man, I like to spread ideas that I believe in. I'm creative enough to find the framework where anything I say would fit. If I want to talk about something, I'll find the bridge to get there and make it relevant. It's bad for everything. Being right and having a new enemy is not what you're looking for. And then this is a quote. I'm smarter than you are. Now tell me to screw myself despite both of us. It's really not the right way to do things. So interesting little, that's another reason I love this book, Fix the World, because it's a lot of insight into who Richard is. All right. Here's another good one. It would be great if kids had better role models. If you care about this other non-cool stuff, the non-get laid stuff, if you care about that, then you're less likely to have kids. And those ideas are less likely to get passed on. We have a heavy weighting in the societies in the world today towards things that get you laid because people are bad at contraception. The more you get laid, the more kids you're going to have, unless you're good at contraception or your dick doesn't work. Either one of those is fine, I guess. It would be great if kids had better role models. It would be great if there were enough people that made money with biotech startups that kids say, heck yeah, man, I want to do that. That's great. So I guess in general, he's saying it would be awesome if we had better role models for kids that did things like had biotech startups. Let's see. That one's kind of long. This is just the title of this makes me think of Richard recently too, with his post about the ProveX, the wrong account. He's like, why are you idiots following the wrong account? So here's something reminiscent of that. Everyone's constantly wrong. Sometimes smart folk aren't so smart. Many thought leaders prefer to let you make lots of decisions for yourself because they don't want to offend you. This does you a disservice. There was once a movie where one of the characters, I think it was John Malkovich, says, the problem with self-help is that you're an asshole. And now you're trying to be helped by an asshole yourself. It's a funny way of looking at things. If you haven't heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect by now, it's really funny. It turns out that the people who know the least about things often think they know more than everyone else about it because they're too stupid to know what they don't know. I'll be a little more adventurous with giving advice. I'm going to tell you things that you might not want to hear. This is life. Let's see. Aw. Carlos Jean Las Vegas. That's a long name. Thank you, Carlos. Carlos says I'm a legend. And I see we've got Crash over here. It's an epidemic. Wow, words. It's an epidemic in crypto. True. People, let's see. Interesting. Here's a let's see. Oh, this must be about longevity. Human behavior was that one. Politics. Oof. Let's see. Interesting. So here's some of his thoughts on voting. Better voting by better intel gathering and data. Why capture a single data point of who do you want to win? Choose instead, put these people in order you'd take them. Now you've captured 8 times the data from the voter. Now you can combine the ordered lists to get an electorate that everyone kind of likes and fewer people hate, as opposed to the 51% voting to gouge out the eyes of the 49 for idle pressure. Interesting. If you have a narrative, let's see. Oh yeah, if you have a narrative you push by lying about facts and ignoring events or hiding events, the voting of citizens can never be correct. For good votes only occur upon good data and then good decisions. No good data, no good decisions. Here's another one. Money corrupting politics. 3 solutions. Lawrence Lessig says, make the money illegal to give to the politicians. James DeAngelo speaks about cardboard box reform, allowing the politicians to lie to the donors about how they'll really vote and get the money, but actually vote their conscience. This is a secret ballot in practice. I think the secret ballot version isn't as good because they will still be able to prove how they voted with a secret recording device. Or they will be found out to not vote the way they were paid to by discovering 0 people voted for a bill, or everyone voted for it. You could also subtract the total yeses or nos from the other known voters who publicly stated how they voted, perhaps under oath, and therefore you can deduce which person it was that lied about how they voted for the money. You have the problem of not knowing who you should actually vote for, because the same lies they are telling their funders are the same lies they will be telling you. Just let it roll and welcome your new corporate overlords. Do it both. Disallow the money and make the voting secret. I haven't looked into this, but it sounds cool. Pay the elected more to increase the applicant quality. Test to be allowed to vote. Kill first, pass the post. Go with the Condorcet or closest method voting ballot. Congressional private voting. California's massive GDP and population underrepresented in the Senate. Interesting. If I was a little more smart about politics, I'd probably have more things to say, but no politics. Let's see. All right. Let's skip. Let's see what else there is. Technology. Here we go. Ooh, robots. Should I talk about robots? This is a very long one. I'm going to skip that. Websites. Tech improvement. That's all kind of just futuristic ideas. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm going to read this one because I think that this was something that I feel like we should do with SciVibe. I think it's this.
or maybe it was something else. That it might have been in SciVibe where it was talking about how you can or should add to, be able to add to a book, basically have it be kind of like an open, let the author continue to add to what they, have previously said. But I'm going to read this anyways. This is called Disproving and Improving Ideas. In theory, you could take a book and issue all of its thesis and statements on a wiki or forum and allow discussions on them. If the discussion was able to disprove or provide improvements for certain language or ideas, then you could kind of have a crowdsourced version of the book that was new and improved. Whereas if you leave the ideas up to one or two people in one or two random places and watch them fall flat on their face, it's worse. In theory, if you wrote a terrible book, everyone should log on and demolish your book. And if you were an honest person, you could go ahead and say, hey, I was wrong about everything and I learned how to be right. And here's what it looks like. And here's why we think so. And if you don't agree, well, see you on round 3 of the book. Even with a subject as time-honored as atheism, I've never seen a book that systematically disproves it. The 4 horsemen of the atheist movement were Dan Dennett, Sam Harris, Chris Hitchens, and Richard Dawkins. Hitchens' well-received book was called God is Not Great. Sure as hell was not mathematical. I'll tell you that it's more anecdotal, if anything. It had a lot of silly appeals to emotion in there, like don't believe in God because if he does exist, he's a mean prick. Pretty emotional. Doesn't sound so logical. Maybe pricks are great. Maybe your judgment on pricks is inaccurate. Then we have Sam Harris's Letters to a Christian Nation. As far as I'm concerned, I think it can be done better. Maybe I'm the guy to do it better. That would be really interesting, a Richard Hart book on atheism. Or maybe Conquering That Stupidity isn't as good as attacking pro-aging trance nonsense. So obviously he's chosen to focus on longevity and not atheism. Interesting. Oh, book update. This is the one. This is what I was thinking of for SciVibe. Okay. Book updates in Wiki for Classics. Why is it that books are never really updated? Hold on. Let me just take a little gander over here. X Music. Hello. Love you too. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Saturday night. Woo! All right. In case you have joined late in the game, I am reading from Richard Hart's book, 15 Ways to Fix the World. You can find links in the description of this video as to where you can read it or listen to it. Yeah. And I'm reading from, I think this is the last chapter because this is the last few pages. But this is the section that I think this would be cool to do something like this with SciVibe. Why is it that books are never really updated? For instance, the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, hasn't been updated. Then you take the classics. Shouldn't someone go write the opposite of the classic if the classic is a piece of trash? Excuse me. If Karl Marx writes the Communist Manifesto and you are of the opinion that it's a flaming piece of crap, why don't you write your demolishment of it? Or, if not, referencing it. Here's my opposite of that. If a book is more popular than your book, then you're better off assuming the opposite position and putting yourself in the same popular mind space, as opposed to trying to create your own separate mind space that people may not understand as a refutation of the other one. Because people read a finite number of books, usually far less than we would all hope, and they just might not get around to yours. Better that they are both on the bookshelf and they pick the one that has better views, a better cover, a better summary of content, if they're smart enough to look at the table of contents. In summary, I think that any book worth writing is worth updating constantly as new information comes to light. It's a tragedy that it's not done. I think many of the classics should be revisited for accuracy now that we have wikis. If you could have a wiki for knowledge, could you not have a wiki for refining the salesmanship for certain ideas? Shouldn't there be a capitalist wiki that says, this is why capitalism is awesome? At some point, if the arguments were refined enough, you could almost make a chain of proof that says, yeah, this beats that. But I've never really seen this type of thoughtful discourse. So yeah, that's something that I think would be really neat if we could get SciVibe like hosted somewhere. I'm not techie. And have the ability to have it be updated. That would be neat. Let's see. Ooh, science. For science. So I'll read this little one. Getting people to invest in longevity. Getting people to donate 5% of their savings for longevity research should get you into a member of a club where you get discounts other people don't get. Why not? It's free for the companies, right? The guys that started the longevity movement, they had something called the 300 Club. The 300 Club was like, look, we need some money. Give us some money. We're a pretty good name in this club. You'll be a member of the 300 people that tried to actually do something. You'll go down in history as important. I can't name any I want to list. I can't remember how much money they gave, but it just seemed to me like something that wasn't compelling enough. Artificially limiting that number to 300, it didn't work. I became a member of it. It might have cost about $12,000 or something. So some of his roots in longevity, being a member of the 300 Club. Go look that up. Find out more about that. That's interesting. Let's see. All right, I got to the end of the book. I don't really want to read any of that stuff. There was a couple other things. Here, I'll read the intro. The intro is pretty great. So 15 Ways to Fix the World by Richard Hart. Introduction. You see things everywhere that can and should be better. It's a world ripe for improvement. If the world has changed, but what you're doing hasn't changed, you're messing up. The world is entirely different, more different than it's ever been, well, perhaps in the future direction. In the past, maybe the volcanoes and dinosaurs were more different than now, but the education system has not changed a bit, neither has politics. Lots of things with lots of momentum and too many committees to pivot haven't changed much. One example is that we have improvements in voting technology and voting hasn't changed. Apparently, there's a guidebook from the CIA on how to cripple a company you work for by bike shedding it, where you get as many people on a committee as possible and try to have them argue about the smallest of items. There's even a law named after the way that committees fail called the law of triviality. Whereas the scope of a project gets larger and larger, the arguments will increasingly be about smaller and smaller parts of it because the giant numbers are so big that no one has anything to say about them. But smaller items, they are used to dealing with are easier for them to get a handle on. This law was first noticed when they were analyzing how the building process went for a nuclear reactor. Not so many arguments about the reactor, lots of arguments about the color of things. And I will end with this. I really like this sentiment. I think it echoes really something that is close to Richard's heart in terms of what is happening right now and what he wants to see in terms of, us as a community. What can we do? What else can we go out there and do and help with, right? So this is a little bit of, it's kind of like the opposite of that. So I'll end on, it's called Advertising for People to Do the Wrong Thing Via Perverse Incentives. If you're advertising for people to do the wrong thing, you're killing the Mother Earth that birthed you. You're killing the system you live in. You're making the world that you live in a worse place. To some degree, those actions will come back to you. Probably nowhere near as close to the profit you make on causing them, sadly. That's the tragedy of the commons. If somebody gets to externalize the cost of destroying the environment and make extra profit, that's a great idea for them. That's kind of it's kind of sad. Is there anything we can happy? Is there anything happy in here? I mean, really, the point of this book for him, I think, was to point out all the things that suck and talk about his ideas on how to make them better. And if you read the whole thing, you'll see that there's a lot more answers in there than just sad. It's not just sad, guys. It's not just sad. We're gonna be all right. What else? How are you all doing? Thanks for tuning in. We got a lovely 9 folks hanging out with me this evening. I'd love to bring my kitten on camera, but he's sleeping and he's so cute. And I don't want to. Let's see. Oh my God. It's like he knows I'm talking about him. Do you get any cuter? Is he asleep? Are you sleeping that way? I've taken all these pictures of all these different ways that he sleeps. It's hilarious. What are you doing, buddy? You're going to hurt your neck like that. You're going to hurt your neck sleeping like a hi. Hi, you're so silly. That's how we end on a positive note. Huh? Oh, we're going to end on a positive note. Look at these paws. Look at those beans, ladies and gents. Oh my goodness. Yep. All right, everyone. That's it for me tonight. Again, just keep in mind that we are all in this together. You are not alone. We've got a whole lot to look forward to, in my opinion. I think that there is a lot of goodness on its way. And I'm really glad that I get to be here and go through this with you guys. I'm going to leave you with biscuits. You ready for this? You guys want biscuits? Oh, yes. Biscuits. Biscuits are happening. I'm just going to leave this here until he's done making biscuits. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Enjoy the biscuits. And just know that if you didn't have any biscuits today, maybe you'll have biscuits tomorrow. It's not out of the question. Oh my goodness. That's a happy cat right there. Now, if you're ever down, just think about Winchester and how adorable he is. It should make anyone happy. Sure does make me happy. Look at him. Look at him. Behold. All right. Thanks again, everybody. I'll see you on the flip side. Keep smiling. Keep breathing. We're all going to make it. And there is a brighter tomorrow ahead. I believe that for sure. See ya.